just like anything else, if you don't measure it, then you can't really tell how it's going, right? I mean, if we didn't have a financial statement for our dealerships, we wouldn't know how they were performing financially. So from a reconditioning perspective, if you don't have a system in place, and there are, in this day and age, I mean, I'm still surprised to hear people that don't have a reconditioning system in place, or they say, oh yeah, well, we've got a spreadsheet, and it's like, you really don't know.
I'd like to kind of start off with one question that maybe all of you can answer. How do you know how long it's taking you to get your cars through reconditioning? When I started this business 12 years ago, nobody really knew. But I think now everybody has a pretty good idea. But maybe each of you could talk a little bit about how you know, because you're at the top of the pile, right? You're looking at everybody else saying, okay, now we really need to know. So maybe you could kind of share with us, how you know that, and then some of the things you're doing to move it forward.
Just like anything else, if you don't measure it, then you can't really tell how it's going, right? I mean, if we didn't have a financial statement for our dealerships, we wouldn't know how they were performing financially. So from a reconditioning perspective, if you don't have a system in place, and there are, in this day and age, I mean, I'm still surprised to hear people that don't have a reconditioning system in place, or they say, oh yeah, well, we've got a spreadsheet, and it's like, you really don't know. So if you don't have a system that is documentable, verifiable, you're just in the dark as far as what's going on.
And I'll add on to it. We use Rapid Recon, and before we used it, we thought we were good at reconditioning. But what Rapid Recon does, it operates, helps us manage, and like Dan was talking about, manage what we are measuring. But more importantly, gamifies. Everybody wants to be a part of something bigger. So if it makes it so the whole group is going together towards a common goal of a 3-day turn, how powerful is that if everybody's on the same, whether it's the detailer, the technician, the person checking in, everybody is on the same page to create that, the one goal that everybody's shooting for. So tracking it creates everybody on the same page for a bigger picture so we can move forward together.
We have stores in St. Pete, Clearwater, and then we also have the Tallahassee market. So it's both our Florida markets, but they're really far apart. Just to add to Dan and Jared with the measuring, right? You can't manage what you don't measure. And what we really did was we developed key single step reports, right? So to what you mentioned, like everyone working together, there's the detail step, right? There's all kinds of steps that we normalize through the group so that everybody could kind of pay attention to the same thing and feel part of what we do.
Hi, this is Dennis McGinn. I'm the CEO of Rapid Recon, and I have a very unique opportunity for all of you today. I have 3 folks here that I know quite well who, and since so much is going on in this industry, it seems like on a daily basis things are changing, but the used car business and reconditioning is still a very big part of this business and continues to evolve. I asked these people, who are all going to introduce themselves, but we got Jared Ricart, Dan Kommeth, and David Simches here. And we're going to talk about some of the ideas and things that these folks have tried at their operations to improve the way things work and getting cars ready to sell. And there are a lot of really good ideas these folks have, so I want to use this more as a way to let them explain to all of you what they're doing that I think is important. So, Jared, you want to introduce yourself?
How you doing? I'm Jared Ricart, president of Ricart Automotive, located in Groveport, Ohio, 3rd generation family dealership. Thank you for having me, Dennis.
Dan Kommeth, director of sales for Kenwood Dealer Group. 28 years in the business, so kind of seen a lot. Never thought I'd say this, but seen a lot.
And hello, I'm David Simches. I'm the group used car director for Crown Automotive. We have stores in Florida, Tennessee, and Ohio, and glad to be part of the group. Thanks, Dennis.
Well, thank all of you for being here. And so I'd like to kind of start off with one question that maybe all of you can answer. How do you know how long it's taking you to get your cars through reconditioning? when I started this business 12 years ago, nobody really knew. But I think now everybody has a pretty good idea. But maybe each of you could talk a little bit about how you know, because you're at the top of the pile, right? You're looking at everybody else saying, okay, now we really need to know. So maybe you could kind of share with us, how you know that, and then some of the things you're doing to move it forward. Because I think that's the whole point, right? You get to a point where you can measure and manage, and then it never stops. You never stop taking a look at it. So what are your thoughts of that one?
We have monthly what we call Rapid Recon huddles. We have the service writers, the service managers, general general managers, used car managers, and we do it by store, right? And we can take a look very quickly because of the single steps that we have, where you can see very quickly where things fall out of line. Averages are good to focus on because, everybody remembers the onesie story of a car that took forever and you find out about a recall and a part and all that. So we don't really focus on that, but we really focus on that average for those single steps. And listen, over the course of years, you battle, whole detail departments out because of COVID. You battle all kinds of shifts. And I'll tell you, when we have our huddles, you can see it so quickly. And then we just talk about it as a team. We don't use it as a beat stick. We just say, hey, what's going on and how can we fix it? And then right for us, we do it with the Crown team. And then some of your folks at Rapid, Dan and Jillian are on the calls also. So if we need some modifications or we need some help and changes, they actually make those modifications for us on the fly. If we have to tweak a step or add something or put in an enhancement request, they're right on it with us. So it's a big group effort, and we focus on it all the time.
I think we do something similar to what David's talking about. So we will have meetings and with all the stakeholders in it, and what we'll focus on with the step reports is looking at the step where it's taking the greatest amount of time, and then so it's everybody concentrate on that. It's like, what can we do to help the person who's in charge of that step? Because everybody has to, everybody has a responsibility, but whichever step that is that has the highest average, we will talk about it. And the cool part that we find out, like, we fail a lot. That's the thing where it's like, if you go into it thinking that, you've got it worked out, you're not right. But anyway, we fail more often, but then you find out what doesn't work. But the cool part is the ideas don't come from the top down. The best ideas come from the ground up, because the people that are there living and breathing that step, they know that step better than anyone else. Like, we had a lot attendant at one of our stores who came up with a really cool idea, because he was like, well, when I'm stocking the car in, I can take some pictures with my phone and we could get some pre-pictures up there to have, because we were having a problem, with the cars getting photoed, properly in a timely fashion, because we were getting VDPs and stuff like that. So he's like, well, why don't I just take some photos and see if that helps or whatever. Well, that wasn't my idea. That wasn't the general manager's idea. That was that lot attendant. So we're like, all right, let's try it. And let's see if it helped out. And, sure enough, then but we refined because those pictures weren't the greatest and we had to figure out a different way. But the point is that when you have all these people gathered up, that they're going to come up with something that is a better idea than just one person would have.
Very good point. The ownership from the employees, and when they take ownership to make a step better. So we always take a look at each step and what's causing our turn time to be longer than normal. Is it mechanical service in our world? Are we trying to fix too many vehicles that are like transmission, bigger fixes that are turning our technicians from thoroughbreds to Clydesdales? Because ultimately, we're just searching for them to turn as many vehicles as possible. And you look at the mix. And then also, who are our vendors? Are our vendors understanding how quickly we need to get it back? Do they understand what we need there and our expectations? Because if a vendor doesn't understand the 3 days to get it to the front line, then they're not on the same page and part of the team of us striving to get to the goal together. All good things, but each step has a little bit of a story when you dig into it, and you're able to make yourself better. The efficiencies are better, the processes are better, the team works better. So how powerful is it to have one common graph or one common goal that we're all searching for and going towards together?
The vendor, so like with your vendors, was it, for us, it was a culture shock for the vendor.
Yeah.
Where they're like, what? It's like, we're going to give you access to this thing, but this is what we're trying to do. Some of them were just, taken aback at it. I mean, it was definitely a process where it's like, the wheel repair guy, where it's like, had to understand where it's like, no, you got to be Johnny on the spot. Otherwise, we're going to find another wheel repair guy.
And that goes to other dealers too. When we're fixing recalls and getting cars to the front line, if they are on the same page, find another dealer partner that understands, get them in, get them done. Because everybody's trying to get the car to the lot as quickly as possible. Are they going to help you just as much as you're going to help them? So all good points to always cover.
Dan, you've been with 3 different groups, I think, and so you've seen this come through 3 different phases. Can you maybe talk a little bit about the different things you've seen, and then also I'd like to ask a little bit about the attention to cosmetics, because everything is so visual now.
The first part, each group has its own culture, and the culture, really, it's not something that happens overnight, right? I don't think in any business, whether it's a car dealership or not. And really, it's determined what does the group of people in that particular dealership, how do they want to define success, right? Because we can say, once again, from the top down, we can say, well, we want a 3-day turn. And if they look at it, they look at it and they're like, we're never going to get to a 3-day turn. They're not bought in, right? Then it's like, well, now we're trying to push a rope, right? So being, at different places, I think, Jared said it earlier, I think people want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. That's why they join certain companies, right? They join, they see what's going on, or, hey, I heard that, you guys, that I want to work for that guy, or this, something like that. So really, as it relates to I was a used car manager, and didn't know what I didn't know in terms of reconditioning. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way than, pulling what's left of my hair out. And it's like, oh, there's software out there where you can actually, do this. And the building that culture, the first part is the resistance, because everybody thinks that, because they think that they're, they're bringing this in because I'm doing a bad job. I'm going to get fired, and I'm going to protect what's mine and wrap my arms around it. So the first initial shock is, you're not in trouble. This is because we want to get better. And why do we want to do this? And getting that, and that takes a long time. It doesn't happen overnight. And so really being able to bring it to different places, it does work, but you have to be willing to put in the work to make it work.
Well, I mean, it comes down to process, and having something to track it is always helpful. And we have been a part of Rapid Recon. I think we're one of the first bigger dealers, and it's been a wonderful partnership. So how do we scale it? So 2012, we started with Rapid Recon, and we had a reconditioning department with 10 stalls and 5 technicians, and now it's grown. So you have innovation. And the only thing that makes money in a company is marketing and innovation. So we had to get creative. So as we continually grow in this state in the same department, we have 67 acres. So that's with 6 manufacturers that sell new vehicles and 1 large used car department that is the largest in the United States of America. So how do we track vehicles over 67 acres? Well, A is we have to have a system in which we track them with, and B is a physical location, because everything just doesn't live on the computer. So we always have stations. So when we purchase a vehicle, we know that it'll come into the intake lot, and that intake area is the first step. Next step is bring it into service and then parts, and then with the parts, and then the next step is detail photos. So as we grow with the company, it's been an evolution to say a little bit. We started off with 5 technicians working 5 days a week. We quickly only had 10 stalls, but we needed at least 15, 16 technicians to work out of those 10 stalls. We weren't going to add another building, so we got creative with a 3-day work week with our technicians. So either Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. You know what happened? production increase because they're not taking hour lunches and they're not going out for smoke breaks, but also quality of life, more importantly. Our technicians and our employees have a quality of life where they have 4 days off. Those 3 days that they're there, they're working very, very hard. But those 4 days off, you can't put value on time with family, time with to do the things that you enjoy in life. So that was another evolution of it. So as we keep growing the evolution of Rapid Recon and the reconditioning process, we've always had the mindset of we want a 3-day turn. Now, how are we going to get that? It's buy-in with our employees, and you just mentioned part of something bigger. And through the evolution, you have to challenge and, all right, we're all together. Where are we going? Well, throw a bonus out for parties. And I've never seen people work so hard together and hold each other accountable if it means like, oh, wait, Dennis, like you're holding us back from this big party that we're supposed to have. Like, do you need help with your stage or your step in the reconditioning process? That's what we're looking for. The one team that we could always grow with one common goal, and that's how they just evolved. And we still use it with our Harley stores and every store that we go into, because I want to understand where our money is, because they're melting blocks of ice. And anybody that says like, oh, just leave that used car out there, it's not a big deal. If you want to make a dealer the most upset you've ever made them, just don't take reconditioning seriously, because majority of dealers across the United States of America, they don't floor the used cars. That's the dealer's money. Why would we just push it to the side knowing that money is disintegrating by the minute, by the second that it's sitting over there? So you have to have the whole buy-in of, hey, this benefits all of us, get them to the lot quicker. The used car department, we actually switch it. We are a very unique situation. Who oversees our reconditioning and service is our used car manager. What is the biggest battle that we all face with reconditioning? The service manager or the used car manager. And I endured it. My cousin Rick was the general manager of used cars at the time. I was the reconditioning director. Family, we had a couple of disagreements. So what did we do? Put it all at one. If they're benefiting, it's one team. If that's the used car department's car, why not give them some service background and have them be a part of the grosses that the parts department are making, the service department are making? It's all about the one team and the one common goal, and that's how we've evolved it over the past 12 years. Wow.
Really, you've got to help the GMs of those stores to pay attention to the right things, I think. How do you do that?
Staying on it every day. Working for a common goal. We're very proud. Right at Crown, we won the Tampa Bay Times best place to work, top places to work in Tampa in 2021, and then we just won it again in 2022, right? So it's all about the people and getting your people to work together. I also try to really bring to the surface the big difference between a car that's frontline available and one that's frontline ready. Because in the market that we're at, Dennis, and everybody knows, you put a car online, you're going to instantly get appointments on it. You're going to get people that want to see it. And what I really talk to the salespeople and the sales managers about the difference of showing a car that's completely done and the difference of showing a car that's still full of dog hair. Right. So really try to focus on the finished product and presenting cars that are done. And if you slow down with the way the market is, and we've always been a really focused turn organization. So even before the market has come to where it is today, we were always turning our cars. So frontline ready is a big focus for us and keeps everybody on that common goal.
And I think you lose gross. I mean, you can see it where, a customer sees that. You talked about cosmetic and scratches and things like that. But the car that has dog hair, if you measure what the desk manager, are they having to discount the car, because the customer's asking for, a discount based on what they see. They don't know. They don't have a technical background. They can look at the tires and see if you replace the tires and see what you did to the car. But if they don't feel like it's everything that they're going to ask for a discount anyway. But if your car is frontline ready,
gives them leverage, right, Dan?
Yeah. So I mean, it gives them more leverage. And then the salesperson, of course, just they want to, wow, hey boss, we got to give up, he wants another $500 off, and I don't feel like fighting with him anymore, right? So it's like then we lose.
It erodes sales gross, and it erodes service gross, because I find that a lot of folks will try to negotiate a deal with a customer and say, okay, well, you see the tires, so for this price, those are the tires you're going to get, right? And then 2 weeks later, they come in and they complain about drivability to the service department, and guess what? You're buying tires anyway. Or you don't do the work, and then you lose the service gross. And transparency. When you tell customers that you go through your cars, right? We're different than Carvana. We're different than a lot of places. We're going to go through the car, and we're giving you a car that's really standing tall. Well, when they come in and they see something wrong with the car, all your credibility goes away, and they really think that it's just a line that you're giving them, right? And you try to explain, well, this one hasn't gone through yet, and we're going to take care of that, and we're going to take care of this. And it's a big blow to credibility, along with lost revenue, when you present a car that's not ready, but your message to everybody is that we sell nice cars.
Mm-hmm. And I could add on to that, and also the perspective. We're in this race to sell a car as quickly as possible. So we're in this race. We want to sell it essentially day one, but we know it's not going to be ready day one. So how are we training our staff to overcome that and getting in front of it with the transparency of, hey, do they fully understand what that process is, the reconditioning process? Do they fully understand the appearance? Do the salespeople are they fully transparent of, all right, I know there's dog hair in there, but this is what they're going to do to clean it, and this is the finished product. It's a way to give them perspective, to get in front of it if we ever get in the situation of, like we're talking about, losing the value. Because if you present, every salesperson wants the most perfect used car with the zero problems. They're holding their breath, hoping nothing that the buyer doesn't recognize it, or they can say, all right, this is where we're at, and let's go through this together. So very, very good point from Dan and Dave. It's about how we put the perspective, but ultimately we're trying to sell it as quickly as possible, but how fast, it goes back to recon and speed. Get it as clean as possible, because we know those experiences are coming.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about some of the ideas coming from everyone who's doing the work every day, one of my sales managers in Cleveland, Tennessee, what he does is he prints the work items that have been approved on a car, and then he goes over and TOs the deal, or even before they go out for a test drive, he prints it out, shows everybody what he's already approved and what he's going to be doing to the car, and he does it with a printout of the work items from Rapid. I thought that was pretty slick.
So you're building trust up front. You're kind of bridging any possible misalignment of expectations right up front. That's excellent. We all know this used car market doesn't seem to have any end to it. It seems like it's just continuing to race on, and demand is very, very strong. One of the things that I worry about a bit, having kind of been in the reconditioning part of this for quite a while now, seeing it come from what I call the hot potato era of this, where it was just kind of let's keep things moving, to now I think we're moving into the accountability and now transparency, is using that so that your salespeople build value in every deal, and it doesn't fall into price negotiation. And I've learned a lot about this from other people, but customers want to buy value, right? Unless they're just buying transportation. So would you guys, I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on that, because I can kind of see people that haven't learned how to stick with the value approach falling back into that trap.
Yeah, I think, I hope our competition keeps doing what they're doing, where they're not selling on value and they're selling on price. And I think by us, the transparency part, and I've said this before, and my people, some of them get sick of hearing it, but it's like, what are you not willing to share with the customer? right? So that getting back to it, whether what David was talking about, that's a great way to do it. But with the iPacket, where we're putting all this information into the customer's hands, and then the customer can ask themselves a question about why the dealer down the street is not telling them something, and then they can say, well, geez, I guess I trust this more than I trust that. That's the biggest thing, and the salespeople too. It's another big hurdle to overcome, because we've never empowered them like this before. We've always told the salespeople, shut up and just go give them the numbers. Here are the numbers, right? So now it's like more consultative, because they can actually walk the customer through it. It's like, here's the investment, it's like, here's what we've invested in the car. And here's the marketplace on the car. And this is why we think it's worth this dollar amount, instead of here's how much it is and then tell me how much you want off and I'll go back to the manager, right? It's an evolution of the process.
Yeah, and building value, I think you can't overstate. We live in the age of technology. Anybody can hit a button and find out exactly everything about anything they're looking to purchase. So why would we hold that back with the iPacket? Before that, we would just use the actual technician repair order with grease all over and chicken scratch and take a picture, knowing the full wow that the consumer probably can't read it. But it's a good conversation piece. It's just showing you we're in a price defending model. And the last thing we want to do is, all right, not boast about all the things that we do. We average over $1,000 in reconditioning. That's the $1,000 that a customer doesn't have to pay for their next vehicle. Why not tell them the money you're saving them? They get to put it in a loan. And as well as, why are we not sharing all the things that we pride ourselves on for used cars? And they can go anywhere to buy a used car, but what's the differentiator? I think it comes with trust and transparency. And it's about the trust and transparency of the reconditioning, as well as the trust and transparency of the dealer. That's another part of it. What is that dealer doing in the community? So why am I spending my money with you? And what are you going to do with it? That's the buyers of today. If they want to know what you're about before they even consider doing business with you. So have a strong value proposition of why your car is better, and a strong value proposition of why your dealership is better, and then you can't lose.
Yeah.
David, you want to round this up and let us know your thoughts?
Sure. I mean, we've recently joined the Rapid Recon iPacket Duo, and it's been working out great for us. We have all the work that we've done to the car. We have Monroney stickers on the vehicles that we're selling, so that if there's any question on equipment or what's on the car down the street, we can really just walk through it and show the customer what they're getting and what we did to the car. We have all of our warranties that are in there. We do a mix of factory certified vehicles, and then we have a Crown Confidence Plan and internal certification. So we have all of our checklists. We have what's included in the warranties. It's great. We do have, through our mix of dealerships, we do have some stores that the salespeople seem to be getting younger and younger every day now, or it's me getting older. But see some young salespeople that just don't have a lot of car experience. They don't have a lot of experience even servicing their own car, right? And you put something in their hands like an iPacket Rapid Recon combination, and their confidence level goes up, and they're just not afraid to talk about the used car. It's great.
Thank you, David. I love hearing all of the things you guys are doing. I think it's really important that we continue to talk to the industry, and we try stuff, and we build trust, we build credibility, and transparency. I think it's so important, and it's not going to go away. I mean, it's going to get to be a bigger thing. The more people learn about it, the more they're going to want to ask questions, and they're going to hold us accountable for making sure we deliver that. So I really appreciate the time that you three guys have taken to kind of come here and talk about this. And if anybody's got any last comments, this industry is way different than anything I ever thought it would be. But to me, it's getting more exciting. Mm-hmm. I think this full disclosure and people being the whole accountability and speed, the sale and the transparency, to me, is really energizing for me. And I'm seeing some of that with you guys too. I mean, and it's a culture too, right? I mean, when your people see that's important to you, right? And then they feel accountable to each other. You guys said that. So I think that's a really big point for us who are dedicated to this industry. Okay, so thank you all for coming. I appreciate it.